There's a video. Grainy. Black and white. A security camera recording in 3-second intervals. Frame 1. A figure walks past a fence. Frame 2. A fence post blocks their face. Frame 3. Another fence post. Frame 4. Another. Every single frame, every single time. The FBI tried to enhance it. NASA reportedly examined it too. But nearly 20 years later, investigators still don't know who that person is. This is Vanished Case Files, where we uncover the truth behind real disappearances that changed families forever. Today, we're covering one of the most frustrating unsolved cases in modern American history. The disappearance of Jennifer Kesse, a woman whose suspected abductor may have been captured on camera, but never identified. January 23, 2006, Orlando, Florida. For Jennifer Kesse, it was supposed to be an ordinary Monday. By the next morning, she would be gone. Vanished, without a scream, without a struggle, without a single witness who saw what happened. Jennifer Joyce Kesse, 24 years old, finance manager at Central Florida Investments timeshare company in Ocoee. She'd graduated from the University of Central Florida in 2003 with a degree in finance. Straight-A student, ambitious, driven. The kind of woman who had her life mapped out and was checking boxes. She'd bought her own condo at the Mosaic at Millenia in Orlando. No roommate, no parental help. Just her savings and her work ethic. She had a boyfriend, Rob Allen, who lived 3 hours south in Fort Lauderdale. Long distance, but it worked. They spent every weekend together. They'd just gotten back from 5 days in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. On Sunday, January 22nd, they flew back to Florida. Jennifer stayed at Rob's place that night. They talked for a while before she went to sleep. She mentioned the renovation happening at her complex. Construction workers everywhere, banging and drilling at all hours. She told him something else, too. The workers made her uncomfortable. They'd stop and stare when she walked to her car. They'd catcall, whistle. Rob asked if she felt safe. She said yes. It was just annoying, she told him. Not dangerous. On Monday morning, January 23rd, Jennifer woke up early. She kissed Rob goodbye and drove straight to work. At 6:15 p.m., she called her father Drew on her drive home. Traffic was heavy. She sounded tired, but fine. They talked about her vacation, about work. Nothing important. At 10 p.m., she called Rob. They talked for a while. She was in her condo getting ready for bed. She told him she loved him. It was the last time anyone who loved her heard her voice. January 24th, 2006, Tuesday morning. Jennifer Kesse was supposed to be at work by 8 a.m. She was the kind of employee who showed up early and called if she was going to be late. By 9 a.m., her coworkers were worried. By 10 a.m., they were calling her cell phone. Straight to voicemail, every time. Her boss called her emergency contact, her parents, Drew and Joyce Kesse, in Tampa. Drew answered the phone. He told them she probably overslept. Maybe her alarm didn't go off. But even as he said it, he didn't believe it. Jennifer didn't oversleep. Not for work, not ever. Drew called her cell phone, straight to voicemail. Joyce called Rob. He hadn't heard from her either. She hadn't texted him before leaving for work, something she always did. Drew and Joyce got in the car and started driving. 2 hours from Tampa to Orlando. 2 hours of trying to convince themselves it was nothing. When they arrived at her condo around noon, her parking spot was empty. That was the first bad sign. Jennifer's manager let them in with a spare key. They walked through the front door into silence. No TV, no music, just the hum of the air conditioner. In the bathroom, the shower was still wet. Water droplets clung to the tile. She had showered that morning. On the bathroom counter, her makeup was scattered. Foundation, mascara, eyeliner, all the things she used every day. She'd gotten ready for work, or started to. In the bedroom, clothes were laid out neatly on the bed, an outfit she'd picked out the night before. But Jennifer was gone. Her purse wasn't there, her keys weren't there. Her cell phone wasn't there. Drew called 911. Police responded. They took a missing persons report. They started canvassing the complex, knocking on doors, asking if anyone had seen Jennifer that morning. No one had. On January 26th, 2 days after Jennifer disappeared, a resident at the Huntington on the Green apartment complex, about a mile from Jennifer's condo, called police. A black Chevy Malibu had been sitting in a visitor spot for 2 days. Nobody knew whose it was. Police ran the plates. Jennifer Kesse. The car was unlocked, valuables inside untouched. No signs of a struggle. But forensic techs found something strange when they processed the vehicle. The car had been wiped down. Not everywhere, but enough places to suggest someone was trying to remove evidence. They found a single latent print, a small DNA fiber. That was it. Missing from the car, Jennifer's cell phone, her iPod, her keys, her purse, her briefcase, the outfit she'd been wearing. Then investigators pulled the security footage from Huntington on the Green. That's when things got strange. Noon, January 24th, 2006. The security camera captured Jennifer's black Chevy Malibu pulling into the parking lot. The car was parked in a visitor spot near the pool. The figure sat there for about 30 seconds. Then the door opened. The figure stepped out and started walking. And this is where the case takes a bizarre turn. The camera was set to capture images every 3 seconds, not a continuous video, just snapshots. One frame, wait 3 seconds. Another frame, wait 3 seconds. As the figure walked away from the car, they passed a wrought iron fence with thick, evenly spaced vertical posts. And in every single frame, a fence post blocked their face. Every step the person took synced perfectly with the camera's 3-second intervals. Every time the shutter clicked, the fence was in the way. Investigators called it statistically impossible. Journalists called the figure the luckiest person of interest ever. The FBI was brought in. They tried to enhance the footage. NASA was brought in. The same agency that sharpens satellite images from orbit. They tried too. Nothing. You can't create pixels that don't exist. All they could determine, the person was between 5'3" and 5'5", dressed in light-colored clothing, possibly painter's whites or work clothes, possibly wearing a hat or had their hair tied back. They couldn't even confirm the person's gender. A search dog was brought to the parking lot where the car was found. The dog tracked a scent from the car back toward Jennifer's complex. Whoever dropped off the car had walked back. They knew the area. Police questioned everyone close to Jennifer. Her boyfriend Rob, her ex-boyfriend, her co-workers. All of them were cleared. But there was one group of people who couldn't be cleared: the construction workers at Jennifer's condo complex. The mosaic at Millennia was undergoing a major renovation. Dozens of workers were on site every day. Many of them were living in vacant units across from Jennifer's building while they continued the work. Jennifer had told multiple people, her parents, her boyfriend, her friends, that the workers made her uncomfortable. She told her friend Colleen, "There's a lot of workers here, and they tend to stop when I'm walking to my car. It just doesn't feel right." Police tried to question them, but most didn't speak English. Some were undocumented. Many refused to cooperate. And by the time investigators understood what they were dealing with, most of the workers had already left. The project had wrapped up. They'd moved on to other jobs. Some left the state. Some left the country. There were no lease agreements for the vacant units they'd been staying in. No records of who was living there. No way to track them down. The window to interview them closed within days of Jennifer's disappearance. It may have been the most critical window in the entire investigation. For years, the case went cold. The Orlando Police Department kept the investigation open, but leads dried up. Jennifer's parents, Drew and Joyce, refused to let the case fade. They put up billboards. They wrapped city buses with Jennifer's photo. They offered rewards. Jennifer's employer, David Siegel, offered a $1 million reward for information leading to her whereabouts, but only if she was found alive by July 4th, 2007. No one claimed it. In 2018, Drew and Joyce did something no parents should ever have to do. They sued the Orlando Police Department, demanding access to the case files, over 16,000 pages of reports, interviews, and evidence logs. Everything the police had collected over the years.
Kesse's parents sued the department for the case file, and tonight they have that lengthy report in their hands.
Incredibly exciting time for us because we finally, after 2.5, almost 3 years of trying to get into Jennifer's case files with the city of Orlando and Orlando Police Department, we finally got the opportunity.
The department pushed back. They said releasing the files would compromise the investigation. They offered to hand over redacted versions for $18,600. The Kesses kept fighting. In 2019, they reached a settlement. The Orlando Police Department handed over the files. "Now it's our turn," Drew said. The family hired a private investigator to go through every page with fresh eyes. And in 2022, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement took over the case. October 21st, 2025. Nearly 20 years after Jennifer disappeared, Drew Kesse posted an update on Facebook. FDLE investigators had just met with him and Joyce. They had news. DNA evidence had been found on items that were never tested in 2006. In 2025, it does. FDLE retested evidence from Jennifer's car. They found DNA, not just Jennifer's, someone else's. Drew and Joyce said investigators had narrowed the list of persons of interest from hundreds down to a handful. "They are definitely hyped up and moving forward quickly," Drew wrote. On January 24th, 2026, the 20th anniversary of Jennifer's disappearance, the FDLE released a statement. The case is no longer considered cold.
It never gets easier, but I shared with them what FDLE has told me about their case, that it's no longer considered cold.
Since taking over in 2022, FDLE had conducted over 115 interviews. They'd reviewed tens of thousands of documents. They'd identified several persons of interest. And they said something else. Artificial intelligence may finally be able to identify the figure in the surveillance video. The phantom behind the fence might finally have a name. Jennifer Kesse would be 44 years old today. Her parents have spent 20 years searching for her. 20 years of billboards and press conferences and lawsuits and sleepless nights. She was stolen from her family and friends, Joyce said in 2007. We're honestly hoping that someone's heart gets touched and makes the call. Someone out there knows something. Maybe it's the person who walked past that fence. Maybe it's someone who saw something that morning and stayed quiet. Maybe it's someone who has known the identity of the person in that video for 20 years. Jennifer had a quarter-sized shamrock tattoo on her left hip, a surgical scar on the inside of her left elbow, sandy blonde hair, and green eyes. The FBI created an age progression photo showing what she might look like today. Her face still appears on billboards, missing persons websites, and FBI databases across the country. A $5,000 reward is still being offered for information leading to her whereabouts. FDLE Special Agent in Charge Felipe Williams said, "Our primary focus is finding Jennifer and bringing justice in this case. We are doing everything we can to bring answers to Jennifer's parents and loved ones." Somewhere, Jennifer Kesse is waiting to be found. And for the first time in years, investigators believe they may finally be getting closer. This has been Vanished Case Files. Jennifer Kesse isn't just another mystery. She's a daughter, a girlfriend, and a woman whose life was stolen. Keep the discussion respectful in the comments. If you want more investigations into cases that deserve answers, subscribe and turn on notifications.